Hey guys, welcome back to Bits of Krish. I have been deep into Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, 20 plus hours in to be exact, and I am almost at the finish line, so I figured it's perfect time to share my thoughts. This is my honest unfiltered review, no sugarcoating, just my raw experience with the game. So sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the combat. If I had to sum it up in one word, I'd say underwhelming. Don't get me wrong, I love the Indiana Jones movies. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of my all-time favorites, and I totally understand what Bethesda and Todd Howard was going for. Indiana Jones was never meant to be some trigger-happy mass-murdering action hero. He's a resourceful archaeologist who fights when he has to but prefers brains over brawn. That's reflected in the gameplay. You're constantly struggling against heavily armed German soldiers and Voss's mercenaries, and since bullets deal more damage, you're forced to rely on stealth. That part makes sense. The problem, the execution. The takedown animations get repetitive fast. Worse, they often don't trigger properly, which has left me in some pretty frustrating situations where enemies get alerted and I'm forced to run for my life. And the guns? Honestly, they feel pointless. Ammo is so scarce that I barely ever use them. Even when I did, I found myself using the stock to club enemies instead of firing shots. The game wants you to play stealthily, but the AI doesn't really challenge you much in that department. Enemy detection is pretty weak and sneaking past them often felt too easy and at times a little dull. When it comes to hand-to-hand combat, it's too basic. Parry, hit, dodge. That's it. No combos, no variety. The whip is great for disarming enemies, but the animations, they're rough. And when multiple enemies crowd your screen, the fight choreography just looks goofy. Eventually, I stopped finding combat engaging altogether. Now, while the combat may be a letdown, the game more than makes up for it in other areas. Story, world building, puzzles, and the overall feel of an epic adventure. Machine games absolutely nail the cultural settings. Whether you're exploring the ruins of Rome, wandering through a bustling market in Giza, or trekking through the lush landscapes of Southeast Asia, the first-person perspective completely immerses you. And what do I love most? Indiana's interaction with people. He's a polyglot, slipping effortlessly into different languages, blending into the local culture and showing genuine appreciation for history and tradition. One of my favorite details, Indiana's habit of taking photographs, capturing musicians playing on the streets, locals dancing, and fishermen in their daily routine. These little touches make the world feel alive. It's like you are on a global expedition, much like Uncharted 4, and every new location feels like stepping into a postcard. And let's talk about the weather and environmental details. The sun in Giza, brutal. You can almost feel the heat. The Himalayas, freezing cold, and Indiana actually shivers to reflect that. These subtle yet impactful design choices make the journey all the more immersive. The real heart of this game is its story. It's been a while since I played a story-driven game that pulled me in this hard. Without spoiling anything, I'd say it belongs in the same league as Red Dead Redemption 2, Uncharted 4, and God of War Ragnarok in terms of storytelling. Indiana's journey across the different terrains, all while unraveling the mystery of the Great Circle and facing off against the menacing Voss, feels like peak indie. And Gina, his companion, her emotional backstory adds depth to the narrative. Now you do spend a lot of time squeezing through tight spaces, crawling through ancient dungeons, pyramids, and temples. But unlike horror games that rely on claustrophobic tension and jump scares, Great Circle keeps things adventurous. The devs smartly use lighting, open spaces, and Gina's presence to keep things from feeling oppressive. Instead of horror, the game focuses on puzzles, challenging but not frustrating. They are perfectly paced, keeping you engaged without pulling you away from the main story. Even the side quests feel meaningful. They blend seamlessly into Indiana's character, whether it's solving ancient mysteries, deciphering codes, or uncovering lost artifacts. They're not just filler, they matter. Something not a lot of reviewers are talking about is the RPG mechanics in the game. They're subtle, but they add a nice touch. Indy doesn't have an over-the-top skill tree that turns him into some super-powered warrior. Instead, he finds books hidden throughout the world, sometimes locked behind puzzles, sometimes just lying around. These books help him learn new tricks, giving small buffs like better melee damage, increased stamina, or slightly higher health. It's a realistic, grounded way to handle progression. The minimaps, treasure maps, fast travel options are also well thought out. You can backtrack to previous locations like Giza or the Vatican to finish up side quests, which is a nice touch for completionists. So guys, what's the takeaway? Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a fantastic story-driven adventure RPG that absolutely delivers on atmosphere, world building, and narrative. Yes, the combat is flawed, but if you love a good adventure rich in history, mystery, and exploration, this game is 100% worth your time. At the end of the day, gaming is about having fun, and trust me, this game delivers plenty of that. I had an amazing time playing it, and I hope you do too. If you enjoyed the review, hit the like button, subscribe subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in next video. Until then, ciao ciao.